Multiple wind turbine lawsuit remains up in the air. As Falmouth selectmen consider challenging to a cease and desist order that left the community's second wind turbine inoperable. Oh, hi folks. How you doing? My name is Dave Moriarty, and I'd like to welcome you all to the Upper Cape Wind Turbine Dilemma. The saga continues, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a new ruling from Judge Cornelius J. Moriarty, who has deemed the turbines a nuisance, and he's ordered a cease and desist order for Wind 2 now. So now the town of Falmouth has two inoperable wind turbines, which are bringing in absolutely no revenue at all. And the only revenue stream that's coming out of Falmouth is the revenue going into the Beacon Hill law firms that are trying to defend this failed wind turbine fiasco that we've been dealing with for the last 7 years. It's been plaguing our town, plaguing our citizens. It's fractured and divided the entire town. And now the selectmen, the town selectmen of Falmouth, are faced with the dilemma to appeal or not appeal. Is it time to give it up? Is it time to stop wasting the taxpayers' money and admit defeat? It's been a failed project since its conception. It has never worked. It hasn't produced any revenue for the town of Falmouth. It is only draining the town coffers. The taxpayers and the ratepayers of Massachusetts are picking up the tab. They're holding the bag for this fiasco. And remember, folks, this is just one community, one community. There's 21 communities in Massachusetts that the same exact scenario is going on. So how many millions and millions and millions of taxpayers and ratepayers wasted dollars is that going to cost? So in my opinion, folks, it would behoove the town, the state government, all politicians, all state agencies to just, it's time to give up. It's time to say uncle. And, you know, I just want our elected officials and our state agency department heads to understand that this is our money. You work for us. We don't want wind turbines in people's backyards in Massachusetts anymore. You've wasted enough of our money. And could you please, please stop the torture and stop the financial bleeding of the Massachusetts taxpayers and ratepayers and stop this failed wind project. We were hoping that when Deval Patrick left office, that Charlie Baker would come in and clean up this mess. But unfortunately, Charlie hasn't paid attention to the issue, and I'm not sure if he's interested in these poor small towns that are being fleeced by these wind developers and by these high-priced lawyers. This has turned into a huge fiasco, and it's time the state of Massachusetts just came clean with the taxpayers and the ratepayers. Haven't we had enough? You folks work for us, okay? And you know what? It's election season coming up again. And if you folks would like to keep your jobs, we'd like to see you do your jobs. We'd like to see you actually craft some legislation that protects these homeowners, that protects these small towns from these unscrupulous wind developers. You know, they only got in the game for the money. Now the money's all gone. Look at all that money we've wasted. The American Reinvestment Act, how many schools could we have built? How many roads could we have fixed? How many bridges could we have fixed with that money? Instead of giving it to the politicians so they can give it to the state agencies, so they can help the wind turbine developers, so the wind developers can give a kickback to the politicians. You see, folks, you've been totally ripped off. You've been getting ripped off for 7 years. You've got absolutely nothing out of this failed wind program. And it's time you paid attention. The only reason they're getting away with all of this is because you folks stay home, sit on your couch, you don't vote, you don't voice your opinion, you don't go to the meetings, and they know they can steamroll over you, and that's exactly what they do. That's why you people get robbed all the time. So it's about time that the citizens of Massachusetts actually paid attention to local politics and voted for the right people. You know, the town of Falmouth leadership has been going downhill for over a decade now. We haven't made a good decision for the town in a long time. And I'm beginning to think that maybe this is intentional. Maybe they're just trying to defend the Beacon Hill politicians. Maybe they're just trying to defend the wind developers and the Green Communities Act. Everybody knows that the man who penned the Green Community Act has just gotten out of prison. Now, why was Sal DeMacy in prison? He was in prison for embezzlement. He took money from people. He was not a very honorable guy. And these are the people who are running our state and writing the legislation for our citizens, for our communities. I think it's time the people of Massachusetts woke up a little bit and really got involved in local politics. This is unacceptable, people. This is only happening because you were letting it happen. You know, you are the folks who are in charge of the government. You let these things happen. If you don't pay attention, they're going to rob you. That's just the way it is in Massachusetts. It's always been that way. So I urge every Falmouth citizen, every citizen of Massachusetts, call Charlie Baker, call the governor's office. Will you call the attorney general's office? Could you ask her to please do her job? Could you ask the Mass Department of Environment to do their job? I mean, nobody is enforcing the regulations on the books. That's how we got into this mess. That's why we're still into this mess. If people would just do their job, this issue with these wind turbines would be settled and put behind us. This has gone on for far, far too long. So I urge all the Falmouth citizens to please call your selectmen, call town hall, show a little courage. You know, I grew up in this town. I've lived in this town my entire life. This is the worst thing that we've ever done to our citizens and let it go for so long. And I'm appalled that you folks at home would let these poor people suffer as long as you did. I'm very disappointed in the citizens of Falmouth for not standing up for their friends and neighbors. Shame on you. Shame on you for letting this go on for so long. It's about time you got involved, or you're just going to continue to lose your money. You know, the town of Falmouth needs a new senior center. They didn't need to lose $14 million on a failed wind turbine project that was never vetted. No one did their due diligence. The information was already out there. It was a failed project before it started. The information was given to our town leaders. They knew that the Vestas wind turbine created 110 chest-pounding decibels before Wind 2 was ever installed. The leaders of this town knew that those machines were capable of producing 110 chest-pounding decibels, and they went and they let them put it on and put it up anyway. And I think that's despicable. And you keep electing these people. So I don't understand. You either protect your friends and neighbors, elect the right people, put in new good leadership in this town. This town's leadership has gone to the dogs, folks. It's really a shame. This is a wonderful town. We do wonderful things. We have great citizens in this town. We have a great volunteer force here. This is just unacceptable. And I just want you folks at home to please call your selectman, call your state rep, call your senator, call the governor's office. This has gone on for far too long. You have the power, people, and it's up to you to use it. Now, if these folks at Town Hall don't want to do the right thing, then it's time to unelect them. It's that simple. It is that simple. If they're going to appeal the latest opinion from Judge Moriarty to shut down the wind turbines, then it's time for them to go. They've wasted enough of your hard-earned money. It's time to put their feet to the fire and make them do their jobs. And furthermore, I'd just like to give a shout out to all the poor people who live around the other turbines in Falmouth. They don't seem to have anybody representing them. They don't seem to be even acknowledged that they're suffering. There are still people who are suffering from the other turbine, and those people need relief too. So if we could just get rid of those Turbines, I think we could heal our town and bring it all back together again. So I urge you to call your elected officials, call the governor's office, call the selectman's office, call your state rep, call Senator Vinny DiMacedo. I'm sure he'd love to hear from you. You're his constituents. He'd like to hear. He's a great guy. I'm sure he wants to help out. And Lance and Vinny, unfortunately, had pressing engagements this week. They couldn't come on the show, but we'll have them back on at a later time to discuss the implications. So the town of Falmouth has until July 20th to make a decision whether to appeal or not to appeal. And I urge all the citizens of Falmouth to please call the town hall and urge them to give it up. It's time that these families got their homes back. It's time that these families got their quality of life back. We've taken enough from these people. They didn't deserve it. No one deserves to be tortured in their home, in their own home in the United States of America. I thought we were over that. I thought we were much better than that. But people are being tortured in the United States of America, in Falmouth, Massachusetts in 2017. And quite frankly, that is unacceptable to me, and it should be unacceptable to you. So let's get those phones ringing down at Town Hall. And the next time you see me in Stop and Shop, and you see me walking around with my swindle bag, I want you to come up to me, and I want you to ask me any questions at all about this WIN program, how it's failed, and how we can bring our state back into compliance with the regulations and the statutes that are already on the book. So please come up to me and talk to me anytime in Stop and Shop. I'd love to see you. And if you'd like to get a swindle bag, well, I'd like to get one to you as soon as possible. They're green, but the green energy program, it's not clean, it's not green, and it certainly isn't cheap. And Falmouth, Massachusetts can attest to that. Now, can't we? So thank you for joining the show. Thank you for watching today. And I really appreciate it if you'd give Town Hall a call and bring some new leadership to the town of Falmouth. The town of Falmouth is floundering, folks. We need a strong leadership in the selectman's office. So please give them a call. Let them know how you feel. And let them know how you want your hard-earned tax money spent. Thank you.